getting all set up here, and here we go. Hello, everyone. Meteorologist Hutch Johnson joining you. This is your after work update, what you need to know. We have smoke in the forecast returning for many of us now and into the day tomorrow. Thunderstorms do return, but a nice little break as well. How about that weekend? I've got details on what you can expect coming up now. You are watching Hutch's Weather, and I thank you for that.
Now, a Hutch's Weather Update with Chief Meteorologist Hutch Johnson, brought to you by Robert Gibb and Sons.
All right, let's get started with what's going on right now. Look at the dew points across here. This is that sticky air you can wear. We have a dry mass of air in Canada with dew points in the 50s, mid and low 50s. That is more average for this area this time of the year, and that's returning to the area. Dew points in the 60s, rather, are still a little bit on the muggy side. You get down here, mid 70s. Are you kidding? Iowa out there with all the cornfields letting loose with a lot of southerly winds out there. This is where our severe weather risk for tonight does shift, so keep that in mind. For southern Minnesota and parts of southern South Dakota as well. But our storminess for tonight, Hutch gets a good night's sleep. How about you? Thanks again for watching. I appreciate your trust, and I appreciate you taking the time to click the follow button on my Facebook page. If you're watching on the YouTube channel, Hutch's Weather, go ahead and please subscribe as well. Both channels growing immensely. We are kissing 70,000 followers alone on Facebook. So thanks so very much. Let's take a look at the latest radar now as we head into your after work time frame. This is what we're dealing with, and we'll take a look at rainfall. We're going to take a look at the forecast. We're going to take a look at the smoke as well. So here we go. Showers are still on the heavy side in parts of Minnesota. A few thunderstorms in northern portions of Wisconsin right now as this system is exiting to the south. So the greatest risk of strong storms, you see this little pocket right here, a few strong storms, southern parts of South Dakota, southern parts of Minnesota. And look at this, central Wisconsin, Wausau Point south. Andrew says, I wouldn't mind a decent thunderstorm, but I can go without the smoke. Indeed, that's the case. And we've had a lot of rain here over the last few days. And in fact, we do have a couple of thunder showers in and around Minot and the western parts of North Dakota right now as I take my crayon out and try to color. Now let me go ahead and put the crayon back in my pocket and let's zoom out to western North Dakota. So Dickinson, non-severe storms rumbling out there, but you go to Broadus, Montana, things are a little bit more interesting down in the southern and eastern reaches of Montana. This storm is severe. The box in yellow is the area of concern. You can see this storm has this little kidney bean shape, a classic supercell kind of look, a 1-inch diameter hail threat, 60-mile-per-hour gust threat with that 30-mile-per-hour movement to the east out there. Black Hills and parts of northeast Wyoming now seeing strong storms, one severe as well. As we sneak down south of Wright, Wyoming, nothing wrong with that. A very narrow little band for a severe thunderstorm warning here till 4:45. It's moving east at 28 miles per hour, 60-mile-per-hour gusts and some hail that'll give you a headache out there. Tornado warnings down in South Dakota right now from Broken Bow, rather, through the Sargent area. So a couple of active spinners out there, as we talked about yesterday. That spin in the atmosphere is exiting our area. It's a good thing that MCV didn't turn into a derecho. Could have happened after midnight. You know what? We just really stabilized here, a lot more stable in the lower levels of the atmosphere thanks to the lack of daytime heating yesterday. But you're absolutely right. Hey, Sean, good to see you. And thanks again for your sponsorship here on HutchesWeather.com. I've got a lot of photos to share with you about rainfall in just a second. Diablo, good to have you on. Thank you for watching. Doug as well. Number one source of weather info, and that's what I'm here for. Let's go ahead and take a look at these tornado warnings here. If you're in that Callaway area just north in the rural portions of your county, here near Broken Bow, this is in parts of central South Dakota, a tornado warning for a radar indicated tornado. But look at the blue, the significant hail threat, about 1¼ inch diameter. Look at the speed of movement of this. Does this remind you of last night? We're gonna have some gully washers once again with the lack of movement with these storms. Again, this storm moving to the southwest. You see that little arrow toward the Callaway area at only a clip of 3 speedy or unspeedy miles per hour. Here's a look at the spin on this particular storm. I'm going to have to back out just a bit so I can take a look at what's going on with regards to the closest radar here. So let's get you off over and take a look at what's a good close radar. I think maybe, oh, excuse me, this is Nebraska. This is my mistake. It's Nebraska. Broken bow out there. My apologies, Nebraska. Let's go to the radar up here north of North Platte. This should get us a little bit closer. So as we take a look at this storm, you can clearly see the greens motion toward the radar, reds away in Nebraska, not South Dakota. My apologies. It's 4:26 Central Time right now. And again, this one's moving off in a strange direction. It's moving from northeast to southwest, so towards Callaway right now. Another tornado warned storm out here near the Sargent area. It's a little bit less clear with its indication of rotation, but here is where that is right now as we look. It looks like this tornado warned storm is set to expire in a half hour for north movement, a northerly moving tornado right here where the arrow is moving north at only 5 miles per hour. So some creepy crawlers out there, both radar indicated storms. So now that's what's going on in our neck of the woods. We got a Billings, Montana storm out there. Might as well go back to Hutch's old stomping ground from his younger days and see what's going on. This is a severe thunderstorm warning for the Billings area. A storm moving, looks like, toward the southeast as it's pushing through the Billings area right now. Here's a look at that storm. It looks like it's all the way up on the northeast side of town here past Lockwood and heading out toward that area on I-94 just north of town. So that's what's going on there across the region. Now let's take a look at some of this rainfall. Now this is a look at rainfall that has fallen in gauges in our area over the last couple of days. Kirsten, thank you. Hey, let's go ahead and take a look at that rainfall, because as we look at where the rainfall fell, it was significant. Those slow moving showers and storms in the overnight hours produced 1.33 inches out here in central and southern Burleigh County, and that tracked right through the central Red River Valley between Grand Forks and Fargo. Numerous reports of 3/4 inches in Cass County. That ramps up significantly. You get to Hope, you get to Page, 1.5 to 2 inches of rain. How about 2 1/3 inches in Trail County out there, not far from Mayville? And look at this, that extended all the way up into that fertile Beltrami area with a measurement there of 1.97 inches. Lakes Country, we still got a good solid 3 or 4/10 of an inch from those cells that worked their way through that area. And how about the Wap Breckenridge area, 1.41 inches of rain. Now the last week has been soggy indeed, and this is a look at the weekly totals from my friends at the North Dakota Agricultural Weather Network. Even these blue or lower values here on the scale, 3, 4, 5, 7/10 of an inch in parts of Ramsey County and out here in Benson County. How about Maddock with over 2 inches over the last 7 days? Now, many of these in and around the capital city here, picking up 2.5 to 4 inches out in central Morton County almost. 3.83, unbelievable there. 2.84 in Grand Forks County, not far from that Northwood area. And look at the Highway 200 corridor, picking up between 2 and 5 inches of wet rainfall as opposed to white snow, right? And then in Lakes Country, we don't have as many measuring points in this area of Minnesota from the North Dakota Agricultural Weather Network. But look at that, almost 4 inches in southern Polk County. That's going to go a long way. As you mentioned, drought, Jerain, let's take a look at the drought conditions now, because that gets updated tomorrow. If we look into Minnesota, northern portions of the state have seen increasing drought conditions, and this will change a little bit tomorrow. But you see the yellows and this tan color here. These are the abnormally dry or some moderate drought just getting taking hold. But you get into that area in and around Lake of the Woods and boom, we got severe drought there. So some wet storms have definitely made a difference in northern Minnesota. Now, as we look out to North Dakota, the northern portion of the state, again, is the driest, but most of the yellow just abnormally dry, not into concerned territory yet as we go through. Bovine Storm Labs. That's a moving name. Drought Monitor, which comes out tomorrow, should look a little different. We're just talking about that right now. Absolutely. Thank you so much. Good question coming from Sean. Wonder if it would be more likely to get rain wrapped as well, that the storms down south. Indeed. Let me see. Now let's go back to Montana, where things out in the western part of your state have been very dry. Hutch likes to say it's just, well, it's just unwet. Look at the red. This is extreme drought in the mountains of western Montana. The president's nose, we used to call it when you're trying to draw the state. And it's increasing drought in northeast Montana, north of Fort Peck Reservoir here, north of the Missouri River Valley. Hi, Jennifer. Good to have you on board. That's severe drought taking place up there. There has been some rain in those parts, particularly in the eastern and northeastern quadrant of Montana over the last few days. So hopefully that helps them. Let's start with a look at our smoke. It returns tomorrow, and that radar, we showed you that as well. So let's get to the forecasting here so we can keep you up to date with what you need to know. The smoke levels across the region look like this as we take a look at a site called Purple Air. My thanks to them for allowing me to spread their information across on my channels to keep people informed about air quality. Here we go. I'm going to pop up back on the screen. So where you see these purples, ridiculous amounts, Roseau County, and this maroon color is over 300. So that's some terrible air quality up there near Lake of the Woods already. And this is moving south tonight. So northern parts of North Dakota seeing an increase in smoke. Where we have the yellow areas, that's a concern, but it's not at that hazardous level. The orange, hazardous for some at 100s. But once we get into the 150s, where you see in the red, purple, and these deep, I don't know what you'd call that color, but it's ugly, and that's not good. Check out Grand Forks right now. As we click on Grand Forks, we'll see the readings there, and it isn't good. 179 is what this says out there in Grand Forks. So choking smoke. Let's go to this site here. 194 being measured here in Roseau County at this time, and that is just unhealthy for most groups out there, if not hazardous indeed. So dangerous air quality is set to move in. Here's the smoke forecast real quick. We'll take a gander at this. It's going to continue to increase from the north as we go through the night. This is a look at surface smoke, and overnight heading into your morning, here it comes, thick and spicy as we go through the evening. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the day tomorrow, because this does linger throughout your Thursday. There's an air quality alert in place for the entire state of Minnesota and northern Wisconsin for all of this smoke. But notice it lingers more so in the northern half of the state, according to this model, through Thursday evening. So smoky all day, northern Minnesota, decreasing smoke from west to east late as we go into your nighttime hours. This includes Minnesota, and that's good. Oh, Cody says he's replying to my comment. I asked a question that I have no clue about. Cody, that's good. I missed your question. My apologies. If there's no questions on smoke, though, we're going to get into the thunderstorm part of the forecast and what's going on for tonight. So let's go ahead and look at this hourly updated forecast here. And now most, as I showed you, of the instability and the heat in the atmosphere and those high dew points are down to the far south into Nebraska, where we saw those active tornado warnings going on right now. This particular model here updates every hour, and it hasn't always been my favorite, but we'll go ahead and take a look at it nonetheless as we head into your evening hours, because we don't have a lot of chance here in North Dakota of seeing some shower and thunderstorm activity, but we do have a chance of that smoke, and the thunderstorm activity does return. So hit and miss showers. See the H moving in? That's not Hutch. That's not happy. That's not anything but high pressure, and high pressure starts a clearing trend. So decreasing amounts of clouds from west to east as we go through the overnight towards your Thursday morning. A spotty sprinkle showing up on here, but nothing strong to severe. Also, if you are watching from the Minnesota side of the river, let me tuck my shoulder out of the way. The best chance at storms are happening now through the late evening in the southernmost portion of Minnesota. We're talking Rochester straight down into the border counties there, not far from Cedar Rapids. Hello, everyone from Wyoming. Stephen, good to have you on board. Thank you for joining us right here. As you take a look at the northeast quadrant of your state, things are looking pretty high and dry into Thursday morning. Then through the remainder of Thursday, look at this. High pressure keeping us fantastically quiet. Now, the isobars get a little close together in the evening hours as we go into your Friday morning, and so the south winds will return the heat. So the heat starts building after a little bit of a break in both the cloud cover tomorrow, but the smoke will be a little bit of a problem. Now, we're going to switch this model over here, and I do want to take a look at our next chance of storms, and that is on Friday, and you'll see my highlight on the 7-day planner. And while it doesn't look like the perfect setup for strong to severe weather, it's something that I'll be keeping my eyes on. Here's a look at a model that I think has been doing a fairly decent job this summer. As we go through Thursday and head into Friday, here come our storm chances. Notice it's not too much, but it starts from the west and moves to the east as lowering pressure out there. And a couple of areas of low pressure will be sliding out of the high country of Montana and the western Dakotas into the central Dakotas. I do think we'll have a chance for some strong to severe storms there. And when we take back a look at the National Weather Service's extended look, let's go back to my radar page here. You're going to see that as we take a look at the national picture, let me go ahead and pop the national view up. Whoop, there we go. Okay. Here's your severe weather risk for tonight. It's shifted well down to the south, southern Minnesota, northwest Iowa, and the eastern reaches of both Nebraska and South Dakota. And look at what's going on in the high country here, not far from Devil's Tower, is a chance for some severe storms tonight. Let me clear off that nonsense off my time bar there. Now for your day tomorrow. Okay, and then on Friday, you can see the green return to our neck of the woods here. So that is where we'll have a chance, and this is called a marginal risk. So at this point, it's not a done deal, but it does look like there'll be chance of storms moving from west to east through the region as we go through your Friday evening, and particularly reaching our area kind of late. So our risk here in the Red River Valley, not as good for that. Cheyenne Frontier Days, Thunderbirds outdoors. Hutch used to work at good old KGWN. Is that right? Yeah, I think that's in Cheyenne, Wyoming out there, as you folks are enjoying. Good old rodeo days, frontier days, a lot of fun out there in Cheyenne, Wyoming. Thanks for sharing. Here's the temperatures across our nation right now. Denver, Colorado, 81 degrees. We've cooled off into the 70s right now. We have mid 70s in the capital city, warming up a bit there. Fargo popping up into the mid 70s right now. I think the best time of the day is coming. That sun's just coming out, and we will hit close to 80 degrees before it's all said and done. With a couple of good hours of sunlight out there, it's going to go a long way. Watching from Moorhead, Shirley, it's a pleasure to have you on board with us. Now, so temperatures right now really heating up, and this is the boundary where we're going to see those storms get a little bit wild as we go through the night tonight. We get quiet conditions. The dew point, the air you can wear, we mentioned earlier, sticky down in southern Minnesota, and that's what we have going on there. And as far as your forecast goes, let's get to the digits you need to know in your forecast. But I'm going to start with some exciting news. Please join me tomorrow, and that would be Thursday, to introduce you to Chloe Gilbert, Hutch's weather kid from the showroom floor at Luther Family Ford. This Cheney Middle School youngster is going to help Hutch figure out the wild weather. Can't wait to, well, have you give us feedback on her tape. Watch right here on Hutch's Weather on Facebook or on hutchesweather.com. So thanks for that. Now I'll look at your low temperatures. Overnight, we're sneaking down into the low 60s. A little cooler along the border where some could see some upper 40s up there, not far from Bottineau and Belcourt areas on this particular model. Any thunderstorm chances well south into Minnesota. South winds for now will become northerly up here in North Dakota, so keep that in mind. Then as we go through your day on Thursday afternoon, see the schmutzy smoke that will really deliver from the north. That's already moving in, that we've been talking about. Brad, good to have you on. Cullum, 74 gorgeous degrees there. And for tomorrow, the 80s return in Stutzman County, in Barnes County for Valley City, 81 degrees. If you happen to be in, well, Babe the Blue Ox country, Bemidji, not Bemidji, but Bemidji, looking at 78 degrees. A little bit cooler off Lake of the Woods, but not much. Mid 70s, very comfortable. The heat stays on in Pierce, South Dakota, near 90 there, and mid 80s. If you happen to be out in the Minot region, it looks like an 80-degree day. 7-day planner, I have put a red spot on the Friday forecast there for you to say that spotty storms late could impact our weather, and one or two of them could be strong. So we'll keep that in mind. I think the next best chance for organized storms comes Sunday and into Monday, with a more potent cold front moving through. I mean, look at these temperatures. We heated up tomorrow, 84. Smoky, filtered sunshine, as we talked about, but quiet weather-wise. Then as we go through Friday, afternoons, thunderstorms, quiet again to begin your weekend on Saturday. Sizzle-worthy temperatures. You could cook an egg on something hot, maybe a pan. And then as you go into Sunday, it looks like a chance for those storms moving in. That'll cool us off. And the cooling continues as we get a northerly flow in the region as we go into the middle of next week. So that's your 7-day planner, and that's what we have going on. I think that's it, but I do want to share with you a couple of measurements from you uploaded to hutchesweather.com. Do you have some measurements of rain in your area? If you head over to hutchesweather.com, you can see the photo section right here. Woo-wee! Northern Lights, are you kidding me? Yep, yes, indeedly doodly. Those showed up in the Bemidji area, and I do got to throw a big thanks out to Heidi for sharing that. That was July 22nd. By golly, that was last night. A little bit of fog out there coming too, thanks to all that heavy rain we've had of late, but gorgeous colors. Heidi, thanks for sharing. Many of you sharing rain gauge readings from across the region. Look at this cute little rain gauge here. Barbara sharing that 1 to 2 inches, or 1 of 2 rain gauges in the yard here. Excuse me, I read that wrong. So a good amount of rain showing up in that one. A nice soaker. And this is rain gauge number 2 in the yard. Both matching up pretty good. Pretty good measurements there, pretty consistent. Today, as we look out in Bagley, looks like the Clearwater County picking up over 3 inches. Becky, thank you. Wow, 3 and, well, it looks like over a quarter of an inch of rain there. That's a solid soaker indeed. How about this one? Shevlin, not far in that same area. And we're looking at about 2 3/4 of an inch of rain. Thank you, Sharon Harwood, for sharing the Shevlin area. Rain also a 1/2 inch from Monday's rainfall. Wow, that's a gully washer. And Brad and Besida out there yesterday and today. And this puppy, if you look at it closely, is over 4 inches and kissing 4.5 inches of wet rain. That's right, as opposed to white rain. And this awesome photo. Carol, thank you. That hummingbird there catching a water drop on his beak out there. Just an incredible sight. Look how tiny and cute that little fella is. Carol, New York Mills shot is absolutely stunning. Thanks to all of you for sharing your photos. And here we have some rays aplenty sneaking out of the sky. Tommy kept capturing those from the Wahpeton and Breckenridge area. Head over to hutchesweather.com. You can get my latest videos. You can also get the latest details on what's going on the interactive radar. No matter where you are or when you're there, this site will keep you up to date. Hey, don't forget this little box here. You can sign up for emails. We've got 1,000 of you signed up for little taps on the shoulder when the weather gets wild. I do not overuse it. I try to keep you up to date with the latest on what's going on. Please keep my fine sponsors in mind here across the board, at like those at Robert Gibb and Sons, helping you keep your mechanical gear running. You know, it's not the best of days when something fails in your home, but if you want a team with experience that's been serving the area for over 110 years, call Robert Gibb and Sons today, and please let them know that Hutch sent you. All right, quiet conditions right now across the Dakotas. That's your radar. And then as we take a look on the site, you can also make sure you visit down a little bit lower, because that's where you're going to upload your photos down here. My most recent videos you can scroll through by hitting these arrows left and right, so you can see the latest ones that have been posted there. This is where you sign up your kids to help Hutch figure out this wild weather as a Hutch's Weather kid from Luther Family Forward. Here's where you upload your videos or just view the gallery out there. National Weather Service forecasts. My friends at For Love of Dog Rescues at Pedro and I thank each and every day for their hard work rescuing dogs in our communities and beyond, and matching them up with homes like mine here and yours, hopefully. They could use help. They could use volunteers. They certainly could use some donations as well. So keep them in mind. Give them a click here. And again, your local National Weather Service forecast. And it's not just weather here. We have iNews partnering up with Hutch's Weather, so you can keep up to date with the very latest and what's going on in our region with news right here. Breaking news there. It looks like there was a crash with some rollovers out there, University and First Avenue North. So thanks a lot to the iNews folks for keeping us up to date with what's going on there. For now, I'm meteorologist Hutch Johnson, thanking you for your support, thanking you for watching. And the rain sounded good. We got a little bit more coming Friday, a strong storm or two, and then again Sunday night. For now, have yourself a wonderful evening. And again, don't forget to follow on Facebook, subscribe on YouTube, and have a wonderful, storm-free, very, very restful night of sleep like Hutch is going to have tonight kind of night.